Hey, how's it going? My name is Evan Schneider. I'm a colorist and cinematographer in Los Angeles and also the creator of LUTco. One of my favorite things to do while I'm traveling is to film the landscapes, the food, the people, the colors, and when I get into the edit and the color grade, I really want to make the colors pop in the travel films that I'm making. And so that's one of the main things that inspired me to create the Atlas LUT pack. This pack features 10 distinct looks that are inspired by different places around the world. You can expect these LUTs to bring out very bold colors in your projects, and I designed them to push the colors into distinct color palettes. A lot of the times while I'm filming, I'm shooting very run and gun style, and so because of all of this and all the different formats of the footage, I decided to create this LUT pack using a standard color profile version of each LUT and then also a flat color profile version. And I hope you find them inspiring to use in your own projects. So the first look that I'm going to be showing you is the Astoria LUT. I'm going to go to my creative look and I'm going to apply the Astoria Rec.709. Now this is a drone shot, so I could try out the log version. So I'm just going to go to Astoria log. It's a little intense, but that might be nice for some different formats. And what you can do is actually adjust the intensity. So I can back it all the way off and I can increase it until it gets to a certain point. Or if you're just looking for an easier kind of one-step process, you can use the Rec.709 version. The only thing I might do is possibly bring down the exposure a little bit to bring the brightness down, and then bring up the shadows to bring out these little sticks in the water a tiny bit. And I might increase the saturation a little bit to make the colors pop a little bit more. Now, I think on this shot, the white balance is pretty good, but you can also kind of like adjust the white balance to whatever you think looks best. The shot was shot during the day with pretty good white balance, so I don't think it needs to be adjusted at all. So the next LUT that we're going to go through is the Deli LUT. So on this footage, I'm just going to go down to the Deli Rec.709 LUT. After applying it, I'm just going to bring up the shadows a little bit to bring out a little more of that detail. And I'm going to bring the highlights down a little bit as well. And what I really love about this look is that it really warms up the skin. It really brings out this fire. But then also anywhere where there's highlights, it kind of cools those down. So you can see this is before and this is after. It creates a really nice color contrast where you have kind of like the cooler tones here contrasted with the warmer tones of the skin, the fire. The next LUT is the Hawthorne LUT, which is a great all-around LUT. It gives you a really good natural base. So I'm just going to apply the Hawthorne Rec.709. And you can see that it kind of retains shadow detail, but it kind of warms them up and applies a very nice overall contrast. So this LUT gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of white balance. You can make it warmer and it really accentuates those warm tones in the shadows, or you can cool it down and it kind of works as sort of a blue hour look. All right, so the Hovden LUT is a very dark and moody LUT, and it applies kind of a dramatic look to your footage. So I'm going to go to Hawthorne Rec.709. This was shot on a drone, and right off the bat, I really love what it's doing to those blue tones. It's cooling down that black sand, and it even gives me even more room to kind of push the cool tones with the color temperature adjustment. The only other thing I might do to this shot is bring up the shadows and bring out a little more detail in that sand and the rock, and then bring down the blacks, maybe push the highlights up a little more to give it a tiny bit more contrast. So you can see after those adjustments, this is before and this is after. This is the creative LUT before and after, and it's really brought out those blue tones, pushed them towards teal, created a nice moody look for the footage. All right, the Lima LUT is a very stylized look. It's very warm. I would describe it as kind of dusty. This shot is a great contender for the Lima LUT because of the warm tones. And I really want to bring out the contrast between the sky and the desert landscape. And we have these bright highlights here as well. And so we're going to see how the Lima LUT does with those. And I really love kind of like the warm tones that it gives, contrasted with the cool sky with the teal colors. And if I push the color temperature even more, it just accentuates that look, really pushes those tones into kind of a complementary color. You can also see that it retains a lot of the shadow detail down here, and it really makes a nice looking image. This is before and this is after. The Malibu LUT is kind of a teal orange variation. This is a great contender because we've got the blue ocean and the green grass. I love the way that it pushes warmth into the green tones, pushes them a little more towards orange, but it's not like overpowering in the way that a normal teal and orange LUT might do it. It also creates the nice cool teal highlights and brings out the blue in the ocean, and I really love the color contrast that it creates. The Maracas LUT is pretty similar to the Malibu LUT. However, it does add a little bit more warmth that's perfect for more tropical environments. So I'm just going to apply the Maracas Rec.709 LUT to this footage, and it's adding some really nice warmness. I love the detail that it brings back in the sky. It adds a little more of those blue tones. I'm just going to bring the exposure down a tiny bit and bring those highlights down to save them. I'm also going to push the shadows down because the shot was a little bit more brighter exposed. And then I just want to push a lot more warmth into this shot. So this is before and this is after with the Maracas LUT. All right, so next we have the Osaka LUT, which I really love for urban environments. So I'm just going to apply the Osaka LUT to this footage. This was shot in F-Log, and I really love the way that it kind of cools down those green tones and really makes them pop against the blue of the windows and the sky. This is before and this is after. If I warm it up a little bit, it feels a little more natural. And so this is before and this is after with the Osaka LUT. The Palermo LUT is a very natural, soft LUT that retains a lot of highlight and shadow detail. This is the Palermo LUT. These shadows on this side of the hill are still being retained, and the highlights and details in the clouds is being retained as well. If I bring up the shadows a little bit here, you can see that it really complements this hillside, and you can kind of like adjust the exposure based on how it's looking to bring out a little more detail. And I might bring down the highlights a little bit more and the white point. So with those adjustments, here's before and this is after. So it's a very soft and gentle look, but it looks very natural on a lot of different types of footage. Finally, we have the Yukon LUT, which is a very cool look. So I'm going to go with the Yukon Rec.709. I love what it does to the green tones in these trees. And it also really overall cools down the footage. Even in the highlights, you can see like right here on the side of this rock cliff, if I turn it on and off, you can see that it's really cooling down those tones, but it's still retaining some of the mid-tone, warmer details. So if you have like skin in the shot, if you have a subject, they're not just going to be turned blue. So this is the Yukon LUT. So yeah, I hope you can see that these LUTs are really fun to use. I hope you find them inspiring to use, and I'm super excited to see what you do with them. Thanks for watching.